Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Good evening, one and all. Welcome to the Toon Review. And tonight it is, of course, another episode of the transfer show with myself and Statman Alex. We have a few transfers to go through tonight. Some of you that obviously put the names in the chat from last week about certain players that you wanted us to have a look at. Just touching on contracts, Alex, it seems like Sean Longstaff hasn't signed this or hasn't been offered this contract yet that he's supposed to have, because it looks like from the club's point of view, they want to see how he performs in the last couple of games, and I still don't think Eddie Howe's 100% certain on him.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he had some time out, didn't he, when the midfield three was quite, during our streak, and maybe he wanted to, after he had a chunk of training, maybe he wanted to give him some match time and see if there was something in there. Or maybe not. Maybe there is faith there, and they're just finalising the contract. And I'm not sure. We talked about this, trying to just look at is there something there? Is there not? It's unclear. It's a bit unfair to judge him on City, but he was also poor in the Norwich game. So
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He seems to have, if he's been given these chances, then I think he's well and truly blown it at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, he was poor with instructions, positioning. He wasn't offering too much defensively, offensively, and that's in both games. That's not just the City game. And it was the Norwich game was considerably easier in the second half as well. It should have been. Yeah, we're just not seeing what we want from him. People have mentioned should he be playing higher up the pitch? Possibly. He's not showing anything that to suggest he could, but we're going to have talent that's going to be far beyond what he's going to be performing at now in the summer. We don't, do we want Longstaff in the 10 when we're possibly going to bring in somebody like that anyway?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Wagner, good evening. News in Brazil that Newcastle approached Barcelona with an offer of 40 million euros, and the only thing they're holding the deal back is Aston Villa's right of preference. I take it he's talking about Coutinho on that one.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything over here about Coutinho, to be honest. Nothing at the minute. Ryan says Luis Sinestera is or should be on the thumbnail. He's a descendant of Tino Asprilla. Danielle says, good evening, Gaffer and Alex. Evening, Danielle. Are you on tonight? Are you working early tomorrow? She's back on Wednesday's show with the loaded guys. And Alex isn't, because he's somewhere between Poland and England later on in the week. Good evening, Paul and Alex, you absolute legends. Paul, out of all the players Alex has showed you, who do you want to see at the club? Same question to Alex as well. Loving your work, Toon Review. Good question. Out of all of them, I'm definitely not seeing Mitrovic, by the way. That would be very silly. To be honest, I'd love to see Paqueta. I really would. I think him and Bruno in our midfield would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so Paqueta for me.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I think we could do with a tiny bit more quality in midfield. I think with Wilson fit, and I feel like Murphy and Fraser can do a job somewhat. I feel like it's that creative midfield. It just doesn't exist for us. So yeah, it's got to be Paqueta, hasn't it? There's just no. Yeah, I think it's probably the most important position right now is just a little bit more oomph in midfield. probably
definitely.
my most important position. Obviously, everybody else is a striker, but that would be number 2 on the list for me.
Thomas says, what do you think of Coutinho and Eriksen? Well, Eriksen is, for me, a quality player, and I think he's proved his fitness, given what he's done at Brentford so far, with only a couple of games left. I think he's come in and played the games that he's had to, and he's proved to everybody that he is fit and ready to go, as far as I'm concerned. Would I love him at Newcastle? Absolutely. I mean, who would turn Christian Eriksen down? He's a quality player. Coutinho, I'm not 100% sure of, Alex. You know, he's been spoken about, linked with Newcastle a number of times, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, I mean, he looked pretty tidy when he first came into Villa early on in the season, putting in some interesting performances. He was dangerous even when we played against Villa, to be fair. We had to be switched on to stop him from doing tricky things.
I thought he was poor against us, though, Alex. I thought he was quiet in the game. I mean, that's credit to us because we know them.
He started like tricky moves and we shut them down. So, but he was trying them at least. I agree. I'm unsure whether we should go for somebody like Coutinho for 40 million when I think there are people currently a lot better than that performance-wise for not much more money. And equally with the free transfers available as well.
Yeah.
Do you pay 40 for Coutinho when you could get Paqueta for an extra 10, 20 million euros? Probably not.
Yeah. Seems crazy. Bob says, good evening, everyone. Great show tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, Bob. Good evening, Paul. George is in the house again. Brian says, good evening, Paul and Alex. I'm looking forward to seeing which players you're going to be showing us this week. Even I don't know what's on Alex's list this week. It's a complete surprise for me, but we'll see very shortly. Seattle Jody says, hope everyone is well. I was also going to say in good spirits, but after that last game, the wife had to hide the razors. Oh, it's not that bad, mate. Dear me. Good evening, Chaz. Gary says, I see reports in Brazil are saying we've approached Barcelona about Coutinho. Yes. Susan says, I think Paul's making a cuppa with an excited face. Well, to be honest, Susan, I was making a cuppa, and here it is, a world exclusive, Alex. World exclusive. There you go. The Toon Review mugs. Mine has got host written on the top there. They have finally arrived, and look at it. Just look at how beautiful that is. They should be going on sale in the next few days once I set up a Shopify account and create the website. It'll be the mugs going on sale first. There is quite a few different ones. You can have them personalized if you wish. Obviously, the co-hosts will be getting one sent to them once we get them in. And the mods, I believe, that's up to Susan, though. I believe the mods are getting one as well, as they should. And then basically they will be going on sale. So that is great news. And then the rest of the lovely stuff comes in. So it's tremendous. So keep your eyes open. We will let you know when they go up for sale. Bob says, no time for a cuppa. There's always time for a cuppa. Evening, Darren. Ryan says, Guimara's bleached hair equals Paul's shiny bald head. Cheers, mate. I've got a nice glow again tonight, and I'm quite happy with that. Been out with the dog for a couple hours this morning, walked about 5-6 miles. First time I've done that in a long time. I'll pay for that tomorrow, but that's never mind. Kevin says, good evening all. I hope you're all recovered from the weekend. Look, it's gone. It's gone. We can't dwell on the defeat to Manchester City. It would be crazy to be honest. Will says, take a piss and go support another club if you cannot appreciate how monumental a task it has been for Howe to get a tune out of this group of players. Awesome show, boys. Thanks, Will. Barbara says, hi, Paul and Alex, looking forward to the show. Bob says, Paul, I must say you have a lovely glow about you at the moment. What's the secret? The secret is, I don't know where my family descends from, but I am darker skinned to everybody else, and I look at the sun and I just glow. Simple as that, really. Alex is basically Casper again, but he's under bright lights and he's under illuminations. Carl says, get Casemiro to complete Brazilian midfield with Bruno and Joey. Here, Paul and Alex was wondering who you thought might be on the way out. And as you two fancy doing a transfer show on that, we will be. Yes, but we'll be doing that probably at the end of the season. Thought you'd be doing a Sunderland watch-along. I'd rather rip my own arm off and poo in it. I have got the game on, and Sheffield Wednesday are dominating by the looks of things. But there you go. What's the matter with you?
Just the quote.
I
had that one before.
No, not many people have, mate, to be honest. But there you go. Hi, Paul and Alex. Looking to see who we can buy. Hi, Paul and Alex and Susan and the mods. Looking forward to this tonight. Ian, good evening. Hope you're well, mate. Injury issues aside, Alex, what's the Red Ox stats, and would you be a good fit for us? We'll see who's on the list tonight. We'll be looking very shortly. Maybe they're offering a contract to increase his sale value. Up the F and Toon review, says Jack. Well, thank you. Sup, guys, says Ellis. V's in the house again. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Paul. Thomas, we're not going to talk about selling Maxi yet. We'll discuss that in another show, buddy. Longstaff needs to go. He's not a talent anymore at 25. Julie's in the house. Michael says Longstaff should just leave. Yet we'll be talking about players that are leaving in later show. Cedric says I see Paqueta having more potential and contribution than Coutinho. Interesting. Kath, good evening to you. Right, who's first on the list, Alex?
So, this is influenced by Maxi's interview with goal.com that he's just done. He wasn't on the list until today, and I've added him purely because of that. He was mentioned last week by a commenter, so he was in the notes. But so Maxi's come out today and said the coach has a well-defined idea of what he needs for his team. If I had to choose, it would be the heart that would speak. I would most certainly want my friends to join the club. I'm thinking, for example, of Ludovic Blas. So, and then he goes on to mention, of course, that Bruno has his friends with Paqueta. So Maxi has named one of his own friends from Nantes in France. Wow. So I thought we might as well have a little look at him because he was mentioned by viewers last time out, and Maxi's literally just named him today. So here is the man himself. Interesting shout from Maxi there, a 24-year-old Frenchman, of course.
Yeah.
Interesting numbers. 2,700 minutes. He's on 9 goals, 3 assists from roughly the same expected. So he's performing as expected, stat-wise. He does have the option to play sort of as an attacker or as a forward. Viewing him as a forward makes his stats look a lot better. I'm still unsure about. It's an interesting shout from Maxi. He's a 5'10", left-footed sort of attacker who his statistical matches are somewhat underwhelming. They're all right, I guess. Mm-hmm. And he's played his whole life in France at Nantes and Guingamp as well. So it's an interesting shout. I'm not sure it's the direction the club are going to go in. But I felt it was worth having a little look and popping him on screen because people mentioned him, and obviously Maxi's specifically named him. So he's a good player. I am a little bit concerned about whether he would fit or adapt. He's never played outside of France, and he is slowly coming up to peak age as well.
Yeah,
I would prefer slightly better numbers in other areas. I mean, he's good with his pressures, tackles, and interceptions. If we view him actually as an attacking midfielder / winger, which is where we would use him, it's less impressive. So I'm not particularly interested in signing this.
Whoa, my lights have just decided to dim down themselves there. I don't know what happened. Oh, they're all right, actually. It's fine. There's not a lot of green there, to be honest, Alex, when you change that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look into it slightly more deeply, he's 17 pressures a game, which isn't terrible. Our wingers aren't doing dissimilar to that, but a lot of our wingers are good at a particular thing, and he doesn't seem to be producing anything specific. Obviously, his output is a lot higher than what we've got in our team in terms of Fraser and Maxi's close to his output. It's how much can you trust this output in the context of the French league? I don't know. I'm undecided on this one. I haven't watched him in person ever, so it's something I just thought I'd throw in at the last minute because there's extra stuff been mentioned about him today, so it's worth having a little look, just so people at least kind of know the general idea behind him. If we do get linked with him in the next few weeks. So
interesting. It's an interesting one. Spider says, "Hi Paul, can you possibly explain why young Elliott can't play the last 2 games?" There hasn't been a full explanation. All I know is that the club have come out and said that he isn't eligible to play, or eligible, whatever you want to say it. And Craig Hope has also reported that as well. And to be honest, I trust what Craig Hope writes. I'm sure we'll get an explanation at some point, but they haven't fully come out and said why he can't. However, all I know is he can't. We just have to move on and accept that he's not going to be there for the last 2 games. It's a very strange situation. I think it's got something to do with the loan he's got with Bristol Rovers. It doesn't actually officially end until the end of this month. So that's why he probably can't play, because the loan is till the 1st of June. It's a 6-month loan, which means it doesn't run out till the 1st of June. And that means he's still under contract, technically on loan, so he can't play. That's the reason I'm certainly looking at, and it would explain it. So, we just have to go with what we've got for the rest of the season, unfortunately, when I say that about the midfield, because we've got a few out injured. Todd says, "Just wanted to say well done to all the mods and Paul, Danielle, Alex and Billy. It's much appreciated. Thanks, mate." Colton says, "Hearing all sorts on Newcastle summer transfers. Don't know what to believe at the moment." I'll tell you what to believe right now is absolutely nothing. To be honest, this show we're doing isn't about any rumours or anybody coming to Newcastle. This show is basically about the players that may be available, how much they are, what the stats are on the players. We're just doing a sort of transfer show to say, if Newcastle were to go for this player, what would he bring? How much would he cost, etc. This isn't a rumour show. This isn't anything like that. It's just looking at players who could possibly be interested in Newcastle in the summer. But at the minute, with any rumours going around, I wouldn't believe any until there's anything in concrete. And I've said that for a while now. Apparently,
a few doors have closed as well recently, with Schlotterbeck going to Dortmund and Ginter's gone to Freiburg as well. So there's a few of the free transfers and Schlotterbeck who were interested in. A few of those names are unfortunately off the list now. So
Ginter's a strange one for me going to Freiburg. By the way, I think it's a very strange one.
I'm surprised he's not gone for a paycheck in another league. It's a weird move.
Yeah, credit to him. If it's not all about the paycheck to him, that's fair enough. I mean, you don't get many players like that these days, and it surprised me that he's staying there. He's gone there.
I always follow Freiburg because of Cisse was from there, wasn't he? So I always like it when they do well.
Evening, compadres. Looking forward to my guy being analysed, says Billy. Yes, we all know who that is, and I'm sure he's on the list tonight. Striker is most important. If Wilson isn't fit, Wood isn't good enough. Hi, guys. New viewer and subscriber. Enjoying the content and pleased I've found it. Cheers, Liam. Thank you very much, mate. Ellis says, we need a steely DM along with Bruno, box to box, and a creative central midfielder. Ellis says, no to Coutinho. Julie says, I'm good. Got the playoff game on. It's a little feisty. Yeah. It's also, every time I look at the screen, it's Sheffield Wednesday and Sunderland's penalty area. Pressure is on. Never mind. Right, who's next?
Well, it is Billy's choice.
Oh, and Ketia.
It is indeed.
Right. Bush, there he goes.
So, obviously, Nketiah we did on the free transfer show a while back, but he has recently completed enough minutes to have logged decent stats on all the statistical websites, so we can kind of have a look, like a deeper look at how he's performing. And he's played a lot more minutes in the last few weeks as well, so we can actually have a better look as to whether he would work for us. He still hasn't signed a new contract for Arsenal. Some people are suggesting he's delaying it and just so he can maybe force a slightly better deal for himself. But realistically, he's got the pick of the bunch. It's obviously not going to be a Liverpool or a Man City job. Potentially not Chelsea either. I'd say we're definitely in the mix there for to pick him up. We're going to be able to offer a better project and better wages than pretty much anybody who's sort of adjacent to us in that fight, whether it's sort of a West Ham or a Southampton. I would like to think we would win the signature. It would be annoying not to. So do we want him? Well, I like what I see. Small sample size from 500 minutes. But it looks like he fits the way we play. Obviously, they play in a 4-2-3-1 over at Arsenal, and Ketty is sat at the tip of that, being a absolute Jack Russell terrier, running around, scrapping at everything. 20 pressures a game, very involved defensively, snapping at people, involved in the passing and progressing the ball as well. His passes are quite tidy after having a look at some of his recent matches. He's got very high pass percentages typically, and he takes a lot of shots as well. So shot total per 90 is 3 per 90, and in recent games, so he just scored 2 goals against Leeds the other day, 2 goals, 5 shots. Played against West Ham, 6 shots, 4 on target, 6 out of 6 ground duels as well, 4 out of 4 dribbles. Very, very, very tidy. Struggled a little bit against Man United, but he kept it clean with 2 key passes and 90% pass accuracy, and they did end up beating Man United 3-1 anyway. And then versus Chelsea a few weeks back, 2 goals, 5 shots. So he's peppering the goal 5 or 6 times per 90 generally in the last sort of 2.5 to 3 weeks. When he's been this current run of form is slightly better. He's getting a run in the side of starts. He is improving week on week. And he just looks very, very tidy at the moment. I am very, very impressed by what I'm seeing.
Who's the strikers sort of comparable to him on the other side?
Jota and Nkunku, Havertz, Firmino, Werner. So very good company to be keeping in terms of a stat profile. Again, it is only 500 minutes, so you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. And he is in theory underperforming as well, because his XG suggests he should have 3 goals and he's got 2. He has a lot of shots on target. He's dangerous. He's always there. He's always sniffing the ball out. I think based on what I've seen I've watched one Arsenal game recently, and I've looked at all the highlights of his recent games. It looks like it'd work very well with the way we're trying to play. It looks like a very good fit. It's a young player. It ticks that box as well. Just about to turn 23. He wouldn't cost us a transfer fee as well. So.
Exactly. I mean, that's the big stat there, isn't it? That he's not going to cost a fee. And I wasn't sold on him earlier on, but he's had a nice run of games now, and he looks okay. He looks decent. And I think with good coaching, I mean, obviously Billy said it numerous times that with good coaching, he thinks there's a definite real force to be reckoned with in there. So I guess time will tell, but certainly one that we have been linked with him as well, I guess, but nothing concrete, obviously. But considering he's free, that is a big plus point, I think, to anybody. Interesting.
I would go for a yes on that one. I'm 100% behind that. Based on recent performances, I think we should push hard for that as a free, because we're going to be trying to. Well, in theory, we're looking at more than one striker. You would imagine they're looking at bringing 2 in. So this is ideal. In my opinion, bringing him in for free. Obviously, you're going to have to pay a little bit of a whack in fees and wages, but him in for free, and then a proper striker that we buy with a transfer fee. It makes sense, and it seems to fit. So we'll see.
Dan says, is it weird that I'm most looking forward to the transfer window as the fact that there'll be more Toon review shows? It's not weird at all, mate. If you're looking forward to them, that's great. Ken said, would love to hear both you and Alex's thoughts. I do believe Chris Wood has played his last game for Newcastle. What's your thoughts? I really don't know.
I mean, Wilson might need to come off at some point, mightn't he?
Yeah. I don't think he's played his last game, if I'm honest. But he's certainly not going to be first choice next season. And if he is, we've got a real problem at the football club, as far as I'm concerned, if that's the case. Again, we will see. Haaland to Man City, is that a done deal now? Looks like it, doesn't it? Pictured in a Man City top today.
Romano's confirmed it. All but confirmed it.
Yep. So it pretty much looks like that's a done deal. But listen, we don't know how Haaland's going to perform in the Premier League. You just don't know. I have like 8 players to recommend. How can I send them to you to look into, please, says Ellis. Stick them in the comments after the show, because Alex reads through them, so he'll certainly write them down. Foxy says, I'm hoping after 6 months of mentioning him, Sinistera gets spoken about today.
He does. I watched him play the other night specifically. Me and Ryan watched the Feyenoord game as well. So not the best game to watch to see what he's capable of, but he's on the list. Don't worry.
Good. Shane says, read today that we're having talks with Paqueta this month. Again, who knows? Les says, oh, I want a mug. I'll let you know when they're up there. Hope all is well, lads. Been watching since Christmas. Best channel on YouTube, says Sam. Thank you very much, Sam. Barbara wants a mug. Up the A1 loves the mugs. Luxman Paul says the mugs, says Ellis. Apparently we've been offered Sarr from Watford for 20 million.
Taking for 20.
Yeah,
not again, like 30, 40 that was quoted, but 20 is more reasonable.
I don't know about Sarr. I still haven't made my mind up on him. Good evening, Guy. Hope you're well. Paqueta, definitely. We need a right-sided attacker most for me. A centre forward. Nunes is a dream. Danielle quite clearly wants a mug. V likes them. Amazing mug, Paul. The cup ain't bad either. Sorry, I'm off my game. Yes, you are, Cesare. Well off. Andrew, good evening. All right, everyone. Sorry being away with work. I know it's 2, but what do you think of Jers in the cup final? I think it's great. They did really well to get past Leipzig. Definitely. Toon says, cool merch. You'll be looking to have one for me and the kids. Excellent stuff. Thank you. I'll be buying a mug, says Colton. Thank you very much. Jim says, a scoring forward. Diabla or Nunes just before Paqueta for me. Woohoo mugs. Mods +1. Yes, Julie. Put them on your YouTube page. They will be on there as well, Ronald, because I can link Spotify up with YouTube. Don't worry. Foxy says Destiny Undoggy. That is some name, by the way. That is I mean, it's probably not pronounced Udogi, but you know, the Geordies, if he ever came to Newcastle, Destiny Undoggy, like. From Udinese is the type of youth we need as well. We'll most likely choose Italy over Nigerian national team. Interesting.
Crazy shouts from people this week. I had people sending me people like 17 years old in the B leagues of Italy and Bundesliga 2. It's very interesting ones.
Yeah. Andrew says, first signing for Toon, if it was me, that Johnson guy from Nottingham Forest, he is quality. He's been mentioned a few times, Alex.
He has, yeah. There's, I think it's worth. It could even be worth as a show, having a sort of championship roundup, best of the rest, who could be poached, because it happened last year. We had Ben Rama, and there's a lot of outstanding or overperforming people who got picked up. So maybe we'll be in the hunt for that. A lot of people say we don't need to go fishing in the championship anymore, but just for people who have that mindset before you type, possibly you've already started typing. Ben Rama's doing fine for West Ham. He was on 8 or 9 goals the last time I checked. So you people can convert. It just depends on their ability. The game's moved on a lot in the last few years. You can step up if you've got the ability.
George, thank you very much for your £10 super chat, mate. Most generous. He says, hope Alex has a safe journey to the UK this week. A shame that I won't be at the match against Arsenal to meet you, but hopefully I'll see you next season. Yeah, George is going to some posh theatre somewhere to watch, I don't know, the Jersey Boys or something. I don't know. So he's not coming to the last game of the season. It's shocking, I think, George. And I've mentioned this to you numerous times at the games. I think it's disgraceful that you're putting some sort of male strip show over Newcastle United. Terrible. Cass says, mate, Dad said we'll take it slowly. Got 5 in January. Well, 4+ would. Come to the next window. I think we'll definitely get in more than 5. Paqueta, Eki Teki, and I hope Cody for starters. Interesting shopping list, that, Kath. Everything's gone very quiet on Eki Teki lately. I can't see that happening either. Dan says, did everyone see the clips of the Toon supporters taking the mick out of the City fans for leaving in the 80th minute? Yeah, it's shocking. Thomas, I'm not going to read that comment out regarding Conor Cody. I think it's disgraceful. And you as well, Danielle. Hang your heads. And Julie. All hang your heads in shame. Jeff says, hope we get business done early as I can't get transfer deadline day off work. Do you think we'll go early, Alex? Or will we be involved all the way through?
It's more likely that we'll be involved early because they've obviously experienced a transfer window now. They had the Hammond consultant in. They've got some connections. They've probably been looking at things in recent weeks anyway. It's probably going to be a lot easier, and possibly already has been easier to start talks because of the league position. Everything's all safe. Everything's dandy. So it wouldn't surprise me if we got a few early deals done. It'd be weird if we didn't, because there's been a lot of. I mean, you never know truly what's going on behind the scenes, but
absolutely,
if we sort of 3 months ago were trying to describe the ideal scenario to set up a good early window, it would be this, right? Win a bunch of games, safe, nice and early.
Yeah,
a lot of people still available in the market. This is perfect scenario, really. We'll see what happens.
Do you know what though? I think we're going to be involved all the way through. Because you know what it's like. Some rumors will start off, or some, you'll get the media coming on and saying, right, Newcastle are talking with such and such a player, and there's going to be one or two of those players that seem to just go straight through the transfer window,
I mean,
constantly linked.
Plug, haven't we? So
yeah. I think we're going to be involved in deadline day as well, all the way through, guys. It's going to be class. It's going to be a brilliant summer. And obviously, we will keep you up to date right here on this very channel. Probably live shows every day, just with latest links and things like that, just to keep the conversation going. So
the window will never be over for us. They've specifically said that if the right fit just becomes available, we'll go for it. So if there is a young player or a player that suddenly falls out with somebody halfway through the summer, that and it's a perfect fit, they've said that's they will go for a deal if it's appropriate. They're not as interested in the money necessarily. If it's appropriate money wise, they will go for it regardless of whatever the budgets were. This has been mentioned a lot, so it's definitely could go all the way through to deadline days. You've got to keep an eye on it throughout the whole summer, to be honest.
Exactly. Magpie says, I'd rather rip my own arm off and poo in it. Love it. You know what I'm like, guys? I just come out with the phrases. It's just mental sometimes. What position? Oh, no, I'm not reading that, Matty. You're just not having a go about him. Callum says, what about Nkunku? Or Nkunu? Is that a different player?
Nkunku, it's the Leipzig striker. Well,
yeah, I know.
Attacking
is there not a Nkunu as well? I'm sure somebody mentioned him last week. I don't know why, but
I mean, we've had a look at him, and yeah, great player. He didn't play very well the other night against Rangers, and then he switched on and scored and did very well. But he looks like a cracking player, to be fair. But he's one of those that have got sort of people circling for a signature who are slightly ahead of us in terms of where they are as a team and what they can offer. So it completely depends on the player's view of the project. If he feels like Bruno did, then he'll say yes, and if he doesn't, he'll say no. It's quite simple.
Yeah. Hope he's not too similar to Mason Greenwood, who is on his comparison list, at least from off the field. Anyway,
I don't know why they've not removed that. Yeah, they probably should.
Exactly. Yeah. Brennan Johnson is the guy from Nottingham Forest. I think he's quality, says Andrew. Yeah, he looks a player. Why is Alex in VHS Vision? I don't know. It's Polish internet. I mean, it's crazy. 1 minute he's clear as day. Next minute.
Oh, is my quality dropping around? Is it? See, I can't see that on my screen.
Mate, it's fine. Yeah, we can still see you. Don't worry. But he'll be getting good old English broadband shortly. As long as it's not as bad as John Sinclair's, then we'll be absolutely fine. Michael says, are we sure Eddie will want to play with traditional wingers next season? I think he likes playing with wingers, doesn't he?
He likes playing with inverted wingers, which is everybody on the market seems to be a right-footed left winger at the moment. All of them. Like, it's so hard to find a left-footed right winger, like somebody to play on the right side. Nobody wants to do it. I mean, Miggy kind of doesn't mind it, but Fraser wants to be on the left. Maxi wants to be on the left. Half of our linked players all prefer being on the left. Yeah, we ideally do need to find somebody who I don't just want to buy somebody who can play up front generally. I want somebody who wants to play on the right wing and is good at playing on the right wing specifically as their main position, because we just don't have that at the moment.
Indeed. If Phillips has a 30 million release clause, would you take him? Depends. I mean, if Leeds go down, I mean, which it certainly looks like they possibly will be, we'll just have to wait and see. Who's next on the list?
Mr. Leimer from Leipzig.
Oh, it's Conrad.
So somebody that's been mentioned. He was mentioned last week. Since people started mentioning him, there were a few paper links, in recent weeks.
Yeah.
And he's obviously been playing in Europe, so it was worth just sort of having a look. So he's on the list purely because he's been mentioned a lot, and there were a few links, so we've got to check him out. Statistically, absolutely bonkers. But having dug a little deeper, watched his highlights, I watched the Leipzig game the other night as well. He's doing quite poorly at the moment, despite these stats being ridiculous. So pressures per 90 being 34 for a midfielder is absolutely out of this world. It is stupid, but that is the Leipzig way. It's the Red Bull way. Is very structured pressing. So he's very good at ball progression, carrying the ball, very good at being high energy, basically just running around like a workhorse. Nearly 3 tackles a game. Statistical matches are very flattering as well, with Jude Bellingham and Naby Keita. Good names to be linked with in terms of how you play. 4 goals, 4 assists in 1,100 minutes is pretty good for a midfielder. So 8 goal contributions in 1,100. I mean, Maxi's got more than double that in terms of minutes. Obviously, different position. But none of our midfielders even come close to that, apart from Bruno. So he does appear to be on another level. But then I was going through SofaScore, looking through his recent matches, and he's put in some stinking performances recently. He didn't look very good when I watched him in person against Rangers, and he has put in some poor performances. I went and had a look at the highlights of this Mönchengladbach game, and he's in midfield. Where is he? Here he is. Conrad Leimer in the middle, playing a 3-4-3. Noticed he won 3 out of 18. Oh, where is it? 3 out of 18 duels, which their midfield got absolutely destroyed that day. 3 out of 18 duels is awful.
Is it just that he maybe he's a little bit out of form? I mean, players go through, his stats suggest that maybe he's just out of form at the minute.
I mean, if you look up here, he was getting assists and scoring and getting above 7 ratings, and then in sort of April to going into May, his form's fallen off a cliff slightly, and he's not played that many minutes, to be fair. So it's an interesting one. He's 24 years old as well, so he's not old. He fits the player profile that we're going for. Quite versatile, very hardworking. His heat map's pretty bonkers. So it's an interesting shout for sure. And I hope it's satisfied a few people that we've looked at him. Champions League experience and Europa League experience as well. So good pedigree.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a maybe. I mean, there's a lot of teams interested in him as well, to be fair. A lot of teams that might have more of a pull than us right now, who can offer more Champions League football and stuff. But he's getting that at the moment, so it depends what he wants to do, what is his vision for his career. A lot of these kinds of players in Austria and Germany tend to stay in Austria and Germany and sidestep between Leverkusen and Bayern and Dortmund. It does happen. So we'll see what his plans are for himself. You never know.
Yeah, cool. So that was Conrad Leimer. Pedro says, well, we are going to be linked with Tom, Dick and Harry. I've never heard of them before. Until I see them in a black and white shirt on the NUFC website, then it's true. Keep up the excellent work, guys and girls. Yes, indeed, it is. That's exactly right. Love the channel, lads. I've been spreading the word with my mates. Thank you very much, Sam. Ryan's 50-50 about Nketiah. Wayne says Justin Kluivert. Interesting.
Is he still at Roma, or did he go somewhere else?
I'm not sure. Is he still
I don't know where he went.
I thought he was playing in France.
Oh, did he move? Last time I remember him, he was at Roma. Is he gone somewhere else? He is at Nice.
Nice, yeah. I thought he was in France, yeah. Andrew says, Brennan Johnson, first signing for me, going to suggest this. Why not go for Haaland? Effort flex the cash. Well, it looks like Haaland's already on his way to Man City. Michael says, Arsenal will sign him up. I would love Eddie here, but I doubt he'll turn down a decent contract offer at Arsenal. He's a focal point right now for them. Yeah, right now, but that's not going to say that that's going to be the case next season with Nketiah, because I'm sure Arsenal will be looking for strikers in the summer. In fact, I've got no doubt about it. Ben says we should be looking higher than Nketiah. What about Yves Bissouma or Ibrahim Sangara at DM? Foxy says Nketiah is a no-brainer on a free. English and his potential still doesn't mean we can't sign another forward. Danjuma might be worth a look. I think Liverpool have been looking. Have we not mentioned Danjuma before? I think we have, haven't we?
I don't think so, because he's not on my list. I've written him down.
Okay. Matty says, looking at the stats for Nketiah, he looks very tidy. He does. We've spoken about many times, would Eddie Howe go 4-4-2? Would he? Nketiah and Wilson up front? Not a bad shout. We need the players Howe thinks fits in with the culture here and wants to run through brick walls for the club, no prima donnas. Not the striker we need, says Albie. Who's next on the list?
So, big player, big shout, if it wants to load. Mr. Tammy. He's got to be on the list. He's done a few interviews recently, seen his face appear a bit more in the English media as of late, and people have started to throw his name about in terms of a return to England. So, worth having a little conversation about. Are we at the sort of level he would want to come to?
He's only been over there season, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's only just gone. But a lot of people are suggesting he wants to come back or he might come back. Again, these is just all speculation. But if there's any truth in any of this, would we want him? Would he want us? Does he fit? Still pretty young, not even 25 yet. So he would turn 25 next season. Scored 15 goals in Serie A. His XG is actually 19, so he's underperforming by 4 goals. So we should have a lot more. He's played a lot of minutes. I think 33 out of those 34 performances were all starts. He's averaging 83 minutes a game. So he's playing all the minutes for Mourinho. He's integral at the moment. Not much of an assist.
He's quite popular with the Roma fans, I believe, as well.
Yeah, all of the young lads that have gone over there are very popular. Tomori was very popular doing his little Italian interview for Milan, and Abraham as well. Very well liked there. That they're getting on very well. It's nice to see a lot of the English lads going abroad to Italy and Germany and doing well.
Yeah.
So statistically, very kind of a bit of everything. He's not incredible at any one particular thing, but he's a very clever player. He's been in the game for a long time. He's been in and around some of the best strikers we've had in the Premier League, as he's grown up through the academy in Chelsea. Yeah. And he's just a very, very clever player. He's strong. He's got a turn of pace.
Yeah.
He's clever with his positioning and his tactics. So he doesn't have an out and out, this guy is a target man, this guy is a speedster. There's none of that about him. It's more of a complete player. Obviously, he is a bit taller and a bit stronger at 6, just under 6'3". So he would be able to put himself about a bit more. It would, in my opinion, if we went for anybody like this, it would completely rule out Chris Wood from ever needing to ever play any more minutes, because he could do the same job. So yeah, I'm not sure we'd go for him, to be fair. He was deemed surplus to requirements at Chelsea. If he was to return to the UK, who would he go to? So probably not Man United in the mess they're in, unless they have a miraculous summer turnaround in terms of public image and image within the agents community. Chelsea probably not. They've spent 100 million on Lukaku and all of that disaster. Is he going to be probably a Liverpool or a City player? Possibly not. Who else does that leave? It leaves sort of best of the rest kind of people, such as us, Tottenham, your Arsenals, West Hams, things like that. So yeah. I feel like we are, if he does want to come back, I feel like we are in a position to try and compete with those teams now. Obviously, one of them's going to get Champions League football, whether that's Tottenham or Arsenal, we don't yet know. So whoever does get that is going to, unfortunately, they do have similar shopping lists to us. This is why I want Tottenham to get Champions League, because Arsenal want the same players we do. So I don't want them to have an extra offer thing they can offer to the players.
Yeah.
Could be a good fit, though. For me, I don't see why he just wouldn't stay in Rome. He's with Mourinho. He's well liked. He's playing well. They're actually playing tonight, right now, against Fiorentina, and they were 2-0 down within 10 minutes when I last checked.
Yeah.
And he's being played out on the left wing, which I'm a bit confused about. But I wouldn't be surprised if he just stayed in Rome for another season. So it's important to talk about him, but I can't see him coming to us or anybody in England. Maybe I'll be wrong.
Yeah. Will makes a point here saying, has Belgium's talents dried up? The great young ones don't seem to come from there anymore. A good point, actually. You don't hear of Belgian wonder kids anymore. There probably is a few.
Incredible youth system, though, like
Anderlecht
and stuff. Is their academies and the way it's incredible. There's a few podcasts floating around on that. If anybody's interested in that sort of stuff, have a look at the Belgium youth system. The way they set up their youth academies is just outstanding.
Yeah, crazy. Jam Stasher says, I've never heard Jonathan David mentioned here. Is he plausible? He's been mentioned very much, certainly in past shows. If you want to go back and watch them, we've done quite a few stats on him, but he's rotten at the minute. I think it's fair to say he's not having the greatest of times. Is Jonathan David? I know Ryan's in the chat there, but I think he knows as well. He's a bit. We'll not. Yeah, we'll leave it at that because we don't want to upset Ryan. Pedro says Lucas Paqueta should be our first signing. Look at Vardy, how he came to. Yeah, I mean, Mark's right there. I mean, sometimes further down the league there is gems, and I'm sure there's gems at the minute down in the lower leagues, and it certainly wouldn't hurt. I mean, I'm sure they're looking there anyway. They send the scouts out and about anyway, so I definitely think
it always happens. There's there's potentially one striker down in the Championship that could come up and score 20 goals in the Premiership. Everybody laughs at people who say that, but it happens year on year. Somebody frequently every sort of, well, maybe you never know, but
Mitro's on fire. Your defense is terrified. Mitro's on fire. Na 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 na. Hey, that would be great to have those days back, I tell you. Anyway, George says he's going to see the Wandering Hearts at the Wylam Brewery Exhibition Park. George, I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, it's a bunch of people, male strippers. That's what you're going to. Just admit it. You're going to the strippers with the lads. I'm sorry, George. I'm not having it. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Gary says, I know we don't do rumours, but there's one doing the rounds that Forest are interested in Lascelles. I've heard that one as well, yeah. If we get Paqueta, I don't care who else we get. Albi will be happy just getting Paqueta. Business done early will suit Howe to get his ideas across sooner. No messing about. Football Star says, what about Koulibaly?
That's a funny one. He's 30 now, isn't he? And he's been linked with a big move for the last 3 or 4 years, every single window, and it's just never materialized. Has the window gone? Maybe not. I'm not sure I think he was injured recently, wasn't he? It's not somebody I'm looking at, to be fair. I don't want to be going for, well, we have enough 30-year-old centre-backs. Yeah. We need some younger ones.
Strange, this comes up now. Can you check Tammy Abraham's stats this season? I think it would be an amazing signing. Well, there you go, Bob. We have had a look at him. Paul and Alex, do you think we will buy a striker? Absolutely. I'm in no doubt that we will be buying a striker. And if we don't, heads should roll. Heads should roll in our scouting department. Foxy says, yep, second leg away at Marseille. Feyenoord were pretty defensive, so probably was the worst game to watch Sinistera. He was brilliant again weekend against PSV. Joe Linton says the keeper should be Areola. Do we have any goalkeepers on the list by any chance, Alex?
No, the last one was Sam Johnston on the list. That is a fair point. Yeah, that slipped my mind slightly. I will have a little. I'll have a little look at who's been linked with us, but I'm warning everybody now. I'm not looking at Pickford.
Absolutely not. No,
he's not.
no.
I'm not having his face on my screen.
I don't think that the stats actually go back to the Jurassic period, so it doesn't matter.
I'll have a little look at.
No chance.
I'll have a look at keepers that we've either been linked with, might be available.
Well, Henderson's getting a lot of shouts in the press at the minute. Well, certainly with the pundits as well. They're recommending that it would be a good move for Dean Henderson to come to Newcastle. And quite frankly, I think Dubravka's back under pressure again because, Lee from Newcastle Fans TV made a good point on his last word show. That there is always a mistake in Dubravka. No matter how well he's playing, there is always a mistake there. And it's proved time and time again to be true. So it's very interesting that. He blundered yesterday, but then again, with the shot, but the crossing
mistake came from a change to the centre-back partnership in his defence.
But that was a shot, Alex. That was a shot from Gundogan, which he should have held, to be fair. The rest of it is very true. With Lascelles there, he turns to jelly, and it's crazy. But when Cher and Burner there, he's rock solid. It's crazy. But there is a mistake in him, definitely. That's been proved. Ken says, I just mentioned that because of the look of realization on his face when he came off for Wilson, as if he was thinking that's my time is up. I think he realizes that he's certainly now Callum's fit. I don't think he's going to be number one choice. That's a certainty. So Chris Wood was probably looking disappointed because, quite frankly, he's shit anyway. And he did absolutely bot all yesterday. Again, missing a header that could have put us in front. We can't have that bollocks, man. I'm done with him. Ryan says, I'm John Herdman, can convince. Yeah, okay. Ryan, you're living in cuckoo land, man. Jonathan David is not going to come to Newcastle simply because Newcastle won't be interested in him because he's been utter tosh, Ryan, this season. AB says, I heard that Udinese, crazy name, is really good left back that was mentioned earlier. Crazy name at Udinese?
Was that the Udogi guy? I don't think his name's Destiny either. I could only find his name's Iyanoma. I don't think they actually say unless it's his nickname or middle name, or I've got the wrong player.
It's a
I don't
bloody
know.
strange name.
Research.
Here, man, I'm going out for a pint with Udogi. Crazy.
I don't know where it's descended from. I could be saying that very wrong.
Indeed.
He's got Italian nationality. So.
Oh, has he? I used to rate the lad. I think Tammy Abraham would be a great signing. I think we probably already have Eki Teki agreed. It won't surprise me if it's announced on day one. Also, that Pogba could have... No. Listen, Pogba, no. We don't want somebody like that at Newcastle United because he has done nothing but cause unrest at Man United since he re-signed for them. And quite frankly, his wages are extortionate for somebody that doesn't pull his weight. Absolutely not. Not having it. Brian says, are we not looking to sign Zapata anymore? It's all gone quiet concerning him. It's a good shout, actually. I haven't heard his name mentioned for a while.
True. It has gone very quiet.
CKM says, Udogi like pet? Oh, DMA, I just realized what you said there. That's terrible. John says, what formation do you think we could play next season? I don't want Pickford even if he was free. Listen.
I wouldn't take him if they paid us.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Wagner says Newcastle need, most of all, either a centre-back with good quality passing or a keeper that can play with his feet, but honestly probably need both. Jim says, sorry, Paul, Diaby was the guy. Looks a player. Yeah, Diaby's definitely a good player. Who have we got next on the list?
We have Sinisterra is up next.
Oh, there he is.
Lots
so there
and
you
lots
are, guys.
Of people really wanted to have a little look at Sinisterra.
Indeed.
I've waited to do him sort of till today because the stats aren't super readily available from his league. So I wanted to actually watch a few of his matches and make sure I can sort of know somewhat of what I'm talking about. And yeah, seems reasonably good. 2,300 minutes in the Eredivisie this season, 12 goals, 6 assists. Played a lot of minutes in the Conference League as well, with 10 goal contributions in that, which is pretty bonkers. He's very, very lively. About to turn 23 as well, so a good age. He's a bit small, 5'8", but we got Ryan Fraser, so Doesn't mean anything, does it really?
Absolutely not, no.
So it's probably better to have a look at his SofaScore page, purely because we can't see much on the FBref. So it does say he can play right wing, but he plays on the left all the time. You can see from the heat map, season heat map, he's there's not much right side.
Yeah, there's definitely not a right winger there, is he? Jesus Christ.
So he's putting in some outrageous statistical performances as well, playing in the Conference League. So if we just pick some of the good ones, this was the first one at Marseille, where he got the highest rated player playing out on the left in a 4-2-3-1. Is this a formation we're looking at? Possibly, if we get people like Paqueta and maybe. So in this game against Marseille, who were no chumps at all, 1 goal, 1 assist, 4 key passes is pretty bonkers as well. 2 big chances created. Not great in the duels, but yeah, the question is, can he adapt to the Premier League in terms of his physicality? Well, he's not done. Oh, reloading the page. He's not done too bad in the Conference League, and they've come up against some tough teams. So Slavia Praha are no joke either, as are Marseille, Utrecht as well. So some reasonable experience for his age. It is the Eredivisie, but it is more of a competitive league this year. Ajax are absolutely bonkers, as are PSV. So it's an interesting shout. I like it. We'd have to kind of see. We'd have to see what the price would be, what the interest is from other clubs. But again, it's another position. Fraser wants to play this side. Maxi wants to play this side. Elliot Anderson's potentially going to want to play this side. We can't buy all the right-footed left wingers in the world, unfortunately. And again, everybody hates Maxi's inconsistencies. I mean, he's missed a lot as well. He does miss a lot of chances. 8 big chances missed this season. So he is a little frustrating on occasion to watch, as I've seen in certain highlights. But and I know a lot of our fans get very frustrated if people just don't do everything right straight away. So it's a tough one. It's more about, can he translate what he's doing now to the Premier League and what we want.
Dare I say this, Alex, but would he be an upgrade on Maxi?
Hard to say because of the league. I think Maxi in the Eredivisie would absolutely destroy most of that league. So it does depend. It's very hard to compare league to league. It's easier in places like France. It's easier because France has toughened up in recent years in terms of the physicality and the speed of the league, which is why you've got players like Bruno in there right now. There's some decent midfielders and creators in Liga, and it's no longer the Farmers League. And yeah, but before we move on to another player, I did actually want to point that out as well. If I could find Liga in the, I might have a little look at, where is Liga? There it is. I've not actually got any players on the list, but I have been doing some homework on Rennes, who are sitting in 4th on 66 points this season. They've scored 77 goals, 4 fewer than PSG, which is pretty mental. So I am going to have a little flick through their squad. Well, I've already done it, but if any of these names, if any of these lads here start to appear in papers or transfers or agents, we might pull one in for a show, possibly, because this is a little undiscovered gem here of a team. People aren't talking about them, but 77 goals, four shy of PSG is mental. They are having an absolute blinder of a season, Stade Rennais. So yeah, crazy from Ligue 1, but Sinister anyway, maybe.
Interesting. Ashes Gavi from Barca. Have you seen his release clause? Have you seen how much he's going to cost? It's extortionate, to say the least. Ryan says it's okay, even for Canada, he was underperforming. Wow. Finally he admits. Finally. Keith says, good show, Paul. Now it's Alex, not Adam. But he's been called much worse, I'm sure. Me and the neighbour having a drink watching your programme. Thanks, Keith. Enjoy your drinks, buddy. Mark says the last player to score over 20 goals coming from the Championship was Andy Cole with 34. He turned out all right, didn't he? Very well.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Harry Wilson. He's had a good season with Fulham. He's definitely had a good season with Fulham.
As in the Lampard prodigy one.
Uh-huh.
It was at Derby, that one. I haven't checked on how he's been doing, to be fair. I'll have a look.
So there's two, is there?
Am I thinking of somebody else?
I thought it was Harry Wilson was at Fulham. There may be two. I don't know.
He might be there now. He was Liverpool on loan at Derby under Lampard when Lampard was in the Championship.
Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah, he was at Fulham. Right? Yeah, he's Fulham at the minute. Yeah. With Mitro, you'd get Passion at least. Well, that's a safe bet. Ian says, evening all home from work, only starting to come around after the City result. Foster says, will Eki, Teki and Lingard resurface? Possibly. If it's a goalkeeper, it has to be Henderson from Man United. No to T-Rex. Nick Pope from Burnley. There's a good shout as well. He's been mentioned a few times. Good goalkeeper. But who do you have next on the list, Alex?
Somebody I don't really want to look at, but
oh dear,
he is mentioned, and it is a.
Oh, not him, man! Oh, God's sake! Why is he on the list?
Because of the persistent, constant links and suggestions from media, agents, ex-players. I don't think we're going to go for him. I don't think he fits what we want, but I mean, we've got to talk about him because if they fit certain criteria, we talk about a player. So,
indeed.
I mean, it's kind of funny if you have a look at who his closest statistical match is as well. It's Hosselu.
Oh my good God!
Which I only noticed today.
You couldn't write the script. You couldn't write the script, could you? In fairness,
it's just
dear
funny.
God.
And in terms of the key thing that everybody's been mentioning, in regards to his goals, is the fact that he scored a few penalties. So yes, his non-penalty XG is 7.6. So without the penalties, he should have been scoring around somewhere between 7 and 8 goals this season, which is, Wilson's on 6, and Tony's played triple the minutes of Wilson. So yeah, his stats are buffed a little bit. He plays a lot of minutes. He's nearly up to 3,000 minutes this season. And they're playing a very direct system. Everything goes through Tony. Statistically, as a forward, again, it's you can see. I mean, I remember them playing this way against us in the 3-3. He was quite potent there, constantly on the front foot, trying to drive at the sort of the last men. Progressive passes. You can see it's just direct. It's using the forwards as soon as they get the ball, ping it forward, or he will ping it forward. So he's playing very direct. It's hard to know. I mean, maybe we're doing him a disservice here because Brentford play a certain style and a certain way. And it was very much hugely defensive system, go super direct when we can. Mm-hmm. And that reflects his statistics. Could he do more in a better team that has more of the ball? Possibly. I'm not qualified and knowledgeable enough to know if it would translate into a better team.
Tony back. Yeah, I'm not sold on bringing him back at all.
My head and my heart say no.
Every inch
well.
of me says no.
I mean, everybody knows about the incidents. So, and there's a lot of people in the comments who do mention don't go back for ex-players. I would agree with that in this case. I don't think we should go anywhere near Tony. I think people turning their nose up at Nketiah. I think Nketiah would be a much better bet than Tony.
Absolutely,
he'd be free.
100%. Yeah,
given a run as a season, would probably get more in terms of output as well. So you could argue.
100%, no doubt about that. Danielle says that rotten club in Manchester won't do business with us. They'll just mess us about as always. We know that Danielle is very fond of that club from Manchester. Will says, don't forget, Wood was brought in to help us survive the Premiership this season. Objective met. I'm not having that. He's crap. Ryan and his virtual pokey stick at Paul. Yes, very funny, very funny. Look, guys, we need to strengthen, but I want players who would improve us and not just fancy name players, says Claude. 550 watch, only 132 likes. Come on, guys, hit the thumbs up for us. Come on. Just watched the Takeover show again, and Billy wanted Wood in. True. Defo, not David. Yeah, I think Billy's changed his mind rapidly on Chris Wood over time. I'm a big fan of Carrasco, but he played out on the left, and I don't think he will sit on the bench for Maxi. Carrasco.
True.
Mm,
I mean, Carrasco plays as a wing back at the moment, so
yeah. Pogba does not work hard enough. He jogs. Well, he doesn't work hard enough at all. Martin, thank you for your £5 super chat, mate. He says, one young Belgian lad who looks good and can play right winger Doku, or Doku, however much you want to pronounce that.
Yeah, Jeremy Doku. So he is on the list for another time.
Yep. How many we got left for tonight?
Well, that's it for the main list. I did have a few requests, but they're not really worthy of putting on the screen. They because I don't have any data on them. So they were shouts for youth players. Cher Endor, who plays for Benfica B, a young talent, 17 years old, Italian nationality, looks interesting, but I can't give it a yes or a no to the people who suggested it. There is Rocco Simic as well, who plays for Leipzig, who was out on loan at Liefering in the Bundesliga 2, I believe. Again, 18 years old. This is difficult. I understand my title as the Stato, but looking at 16 to 18-year-olds who are playing in the youth leagues, unfortunately, the data isn't there. They don't track it much. It's hard to watch the games. It's hard to find highlights. There's not much data. At the end, if I could do that much, I would just be a club scout anyway, and that would be my job. Because to go and it's such a time sink to go and research players like that who don't have the data readily available. But interesting shouts from everybody who did send me names. Daniel Coffey Kere as well, Ghanaian, plays for FC St. Pauli. Just lost the other day against Schalke, who have been re-promoted back up to the Bundesliga after their strange relegation. He's an interesting shout again, but he's 26 though, so he's a big fat no. I don't want to be signing people who are 26 who are in the Bundesliga 2, even though he looks good and he scored quite a few goals, I believe, this season. So no to the linked players. If they're interesting linked players like Sinistera, we will put them in for a show. So feel free to throw some more names about.
Yeah,
that is
under the
it
comments.
today.
Coolio. Right. That is it, guys. That is the transfer show for yet another week. As Stato says, if you have any more names you want him to look at and put the stats up on the screen next week, please do comment underneath the show once it's over, and then he does tend to check in and get some names and obviously do the research. So
honourable mentions. I did watch Ndika the other night, but West Ham obviously had Cresswell sent off, so it wasn't a good litmus test to see if he was any good. Still, Ndika looks very good, but he's linked with other clubs as well. He's been linked with Man United, so I am aware of Inacio from Sporting and Ndika. We're still monitoring them and seeing kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
So
there you go, guys. Brilliant show again. Stato, thank you for the hard work and the research. He just loves his sofa score, does Alex. He thrives. He's got about 42 tabs open on his computer on a daily basis. Joe Linton says, thank you for your £2, mate. Noah Lang. I've never heard of him. Alex?
No, nor have I.
No.
Can't say I have.
Absolutely. No idea. He'll have a look at him, I'm sure. But we'll have a look. Anyway, that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We've had a great time again. Just to let you know of the shows coming up so far this week. Tomorrow night, of course, we have the fan forum with me and Billy. Come and have your say on all things Newcastle United. A lot to talk about. Obviously, the Man City defeat, the upcoming game against Arsenal, the new contract offered and things like that. Who is going to what and things like that. So great show. Get yourself on. 8:30 kickoff. The link to join will be in the live comments from around 8:15 tomorrow night. Come and join us live and have your say. And Wednesday night, a great show coming up. Alex, unfortunately, won't be joining us because obviously he's in the middle of moving. But this is the Loaded Toon Review show with us guys and some of the Loaded boys. They won't all be on, unfortunately. They can't all make it, but three of them will, I think. So looking forward to that one. Do check out the Loaded HQ channel as well. We're in collaboration with them. Their channel link is down in the description below, so do go and check them out. Great bunch of lads, great fun. I was on their channel last Wednesday, had a really good laugh. And we're going to do, hopefully looking to do a show once a week, once on this channel, once on theirs, and bounce off each other's channel, which will be really good. Great bunch. And a really good laugh. So Wednesday night, it'll be talking about all things Newcastle United, the latest results, transfers, and whatever props up. So take part in the show as well in the comments, and you'll have a really good laugh on Wednesday night. That kicks off at 8:30 as well. So don't forget to join us for that one. Once again, thank you to Geordie Riffs. Continued sponsorship of the channel, premium guitar lessons for beginners and children, guitar repairs and servicing, a recording studio, and your first guitar lesson completely free of charge if you quote the Toon Review. You can find them at geordieriffs.co.uk, at Geordie Riffs on Instagram, and Facebook at Geordie Riffs Official. If you have enjoyed the show tonight, guys, please do hit that like button. It does help the channel grow. And if you're new to the channel, you like what you've seen, please do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, which will let you know when we do upload or record a new video. Thank you to the mods as well in the background. Thank you to everybody that's viewed tonight, your super chatters, and everybody that's put comments in. It's been a great show, and we will catch you again tomorrow night at 8:30 for the fan forum. Until then, guys, take care, be kind. See you soon.